Hello guys and welcome. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Dylan and I had an idea for a story. Ever since Star Wars Rogue One came out, I had this idea. I've been sitting on it for a very long time. And then Star Wars The Mandalorian came out and that ended up being a great TV show. So I turned my movie idea into a TV series idea, and then I started writing it down for the first time ever. And what I have decided to do is I have decided to publish it, make videos on it, show it to you guys. Now, this is definitely not canon by Disney. This is not made by Disney. This is made by me, a fan. It is fan made, and I am not a professional writer. I am not a professional speaker. I will narrate it for you, but feel free to, of course, mute me and read it for yourselves, because some people can read faster than I can speak better than I can, so go ahead and feel free to do that. I cannot put music in these videos because, of course, copyrights, but feel free to turn on some Star Wars music in the background and read my Star Wars story. My fan-made Star Wars story, The Rise. Star Wars The Rise, Chapter 3, The Mummy. The team flies into a planet. They land and walk out. A few male Twi'leks pull out a crate and left it in front of the ship. Now we leave it up to them, they say, and head back inside. Thanks, we'll take it from here, Litz says as MD3 pulls it on board the ship. As soon as the ship is closed, Jarv walks up to it. "Okay, man, you ready to identify this stuff?" Lit asked. Jarv nods. They open the crate. There sits a mummified corpse, too burnt to be recognized. "Wow, wasn't expecting that," Lit explains as Jarv puts on gloves and examines the body. "Well, the body itself is old, a few hundred years, but there's no way of telling without deposit analyzed by the Republic whether or not his death was recent or a few hundred years ago. Look at the horns. Must have been a Devorian, judging from that," Jarv says. He's an artifact inspector for the church back on Jeddah. Jarv examines the marks on the body. "I see why they would think this was related to the church. If you look here, these must have been tattoos. They're faint, but you can make out a few samples of Force symbols. Hand me my book over there." Lit hands Jarv a book from the shelf that he brought on board. "See, this symbol here means life. This one here means death. This one here means power. There are others, but they're too faint to make out, but they are definitely these symbols from old texts known by the Church of the Force. Maybe this guy was a believer. Maybe at one point this place had a church or something. Either way, look, he's got some nice gold and silver around him," says Lit. "Yes, that might be because he was powerful, and they buried him with rings and such to show their respects. Especially this," Jarv says. "This sword wrapped in cloth must have been his weapon. He might have been a warrior. His blade, though it seems fragile, I don't think we should unwrap it for fear of destroying its value. Either way, your boss cabin found what can either be a gold mine or respected warrior worth nothing else but that. The collector's men who examines this will truly be able to tell. Can't wait to hear about it from the Republic archives in a few years. Or so I'm sure." Cavan laughed. As the ship flies away, a shadowy figure calls on his communicator. "They got the stuff. Copy that. Let's ambush them and take it. We'll get twice what they get from it." Laughter spreads from the communicator. It isn't long until they need to refill the ship. They stop by an outpost bar for some fuel and drinks. Unknown to them, they've been followed. Kevin, you want space waffles, right? Kevin nods, and Jarv, juice, a jug of it, if they have it. Okay, she says, as she heads to the bar. Hey, Lit, be careful. Not everyone he is friendly around here. Lit turns around. Since when am I friendly too? Kevin smiles. Is it smart to leave her on her own? Jarv asked. She can take care of herself. It's fine, Kevin says. Come on, MD3, let's get the tank filled. Then 3 people follow Lit towards the bar. They're in black scruffy cloaks and big blaster holders on their hips. She grabs the stuff and heads out the door when suddenly she's grabbed. Don't move. She instantly stomps on the guy's foot, pulls his blaster away, and back kicks him to the ground. She drops the space waffles, blaster pointed at the 3 behind her. She looks, and then her anger turns into a smile. You 3 idiots! What are you doing here? She puts down the blaster and reaches for the guy she kicks to the floor. Well, Scarlet Wren, we saw your ship and had to come say hello. Lit's real name is Scarlet, and she's a Mandalorian. However, you never know it if you met her. She doesn't wear Mandalorian armor or cares much for her heritage. It's just war after war on her planet. As soon as she was old enough to fly, she got a job as a transport pilot. Through that, she gained a few mechanic skills, and one day, when Kevin and MD3 ship blew a fuse, they couldn't fix it. She helped them out. Soon, Kevin, making more money than he needed, offered her a job. It was half of what she made then, but she decided it was her only way of seeing most of the galaxy, which she has. However, her brother and cousin became scouts. Ruby, her cousin, sat on the floor and grabbed Scarlet's hand. Taupe, her brother, sat there and laughed as he took his cloak hood off. Max, her other cousin, took his helmet off and hugged Lit. No, really, what are you guys doing here? Lit asked. There's been a robbery. The guy and his gang have been tracked to here. We're looking to capture them with all means necessary, he says as he packs his blaster. Well, we haven't seen them. Come, I got to have you meet my boss. We're here on a little transports of goods missions ourselves. He'll love to meet you. She takes them to the ship. Hey, Kevin, I got someone for you too. As soon as she says meet, all 3 pull out their blasters. Put up your arms. You're under arrest for stealing. Kevin puts up his arms. What? What's this about? Lit grabs Ruby's blaster and knocks her down. Hey, what is wrong with you? She says as she stands in front of Kevin. What? What's going on here? There's been a robbery out on planet 446. It's designated as property of Mandalore. We harness metals from there, metals that improve Mandalorian ship armor. We have a signed contract with the Hutts. They're allowed to use some of the planet's resources as well. But one of these sites found a trove of bodies, tombs unknown to us. We were going to investigate the bodies when the Hutts stole something from inside. We tracked it and saw your ship leave. I'm sorry, Scarlet. You're under Mandalorian arrest. Kevin laughed. So this is some misunderstanding. We got a job, yes. The Hutts is our boss. They told us they just wanted to move the artifacts and sell them to the Republic collectors. There they could release it to the public without space interference. We're just the transporters. We heard nothing about the Mandalorians being involved. Huh. Typical Hutts. They think they own everything. Well, your boss stole from us. Just hand it back and we're done here. Okay, Kevin said. Maybe we can make a deal on behalf of the Hutts and the Mandalorians. For a small fee, well, Kevin tried to explain when he was cut off. That's your problem. We won't pay for stolen property. Ruby snaps back. Just as the conversation gets good, the engines snap into action, and Kevin's ship behind them goes flying.